I'm a fan of old-time comedy, and in particular, the Three Stooges. I have the entire collection of their shorts, uh, well into when they stopped being funny. The entire last set is not funny at all, and yet I had to have it because I am a completist and because I love the Stooges. Um, but the Three Stooges set, which Columbia did about 10 years ago, which is a complete set. I mean, it's all their shorts. It wasn't complete enough. You see, there weren't three Stooges, there were six Stooges. Uh, Larry Moe and Curly, Shemp, Joe Besser, and that's it for the shorts. But then they did a lot of movies with a guy named Joe Dorita, who they called Curly Joe. Uh, and Joe Dorita doesn't factor into these collections because he was in the movies, not the shorts. Well, that didn't sit right with me. So I made my own final volume for the Three Stooges, Volume 9. Custom case here with a whole hell of a lot of movies. Everything from Soup to Nuts, a movie they did well before the shorts. It was when Shemp was actually was still the original third Stooge. All the way to the Fairley Brothers 2012 Three Stooges remake, which is actually okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Included in this collection, however, is a bit of an oddity. A TV movie from 2000, a biopic that has virtually no truth to it, but it's still really good and pretty entertaining. Simply called The Three Stooges. It it came out in 2000. It was produced by Mel Gibson, which was another sort of weird kind of thing. I guess Mel Gibson is a big Stooges fan. And it's a movie I have always had a lot of affection for. I remember I was very, very poor at the time that it came out, and I had a friend record it for me because my TV, I had the rabbit ears, and I, I, I couldn't barely watch anything. Um, it's got Michael Chiklis in it as Curly. Honestly, I don't know the other actors in it. I recognize them from things, but I don't really know their names. It's not it's clearly a TV movie. It's a pretty low budget affair. The Other than Michael Chiklis' Curly, the other, I don't know. Everybody kind of does a good job. Mo is the center of the movie, obviously, and the guy who plays him, I don't think looks anything like him and has a hard time acting like him. Uh, there's one part where they recreate a Three Stooges short, and he's beaten up on Curly, and you could see how much he wants to smile, which was not what Mo would have done in that circumstance, um, of which he was a victim. Um, Again, there's so many bad things to say about this movie. The timeline is all wrong. The characterization of the people themselves is all wrong. In some ways, in this absolutely libelous kind of ways. Just from what I understand, the presentation of Ted Healy, who was the guy who kind of first founded the Stooges, they make him out to be a thug and just this horrible, abusive, brutal guy, which apparently he wasn't. Which apparently nobody has ever said that, and nobody ever, uh, you know, everything I've read, even the Stooges themselves had nothing but nice things to say about him for the most part, and they make him out to be just the worst guy. They present Moe as, in his latter years, reduced to delivering sandwiches for people over at Columbia Pictures because they had screwed the Stooges out of royalties and everything. Apparently, that never happened. Um, I don't know. It really is, even like the presenting Curly right before he had his stroke. They recreate a moment from his last short right before he had his stroke, and they have the him have this stroke right in front of the camera. Again, I know these shorts. I know that moment. They present Michael Chiklis, the way he plays it is sort of like really slow and kind of he's like this, and he's really out of it. That's not the way the short plays out. Curly wasn't as sharp as he would have been in his younger years. He may have had the stroke at that particular moment. I don't know. But he was able to sort of hold it together, at least in the parts he was in, including that moment. So there's so much about this that if you want like an accurate representation of who the Three Stooges were and what their story is, you're not going to get it from this movie. That said, I love this movie. I've watched it 100 times. It's funny because I bought it from Amazon. It's just a burned DVR. I didn't even really realize it until I went to put it in the other day, and it doesn't work on my PS4. I had to put it in the PS3. There is a charm to it. There is an affection for the Stooges. There is a love of the Stooges. You almost wish that the story did play out this way in a lot of ways, because it is such a triumphant journey to the end. Very, very emotional, very nostalgic for a different time. And they meant well. And you can tell they meant well. You can tell that these people love the Three Stooges. And it's a lot like, this weird comparison, like Braveheart. Braveheart has so much in it that never happened in real life to the real William Wallace. But they made a good movie out of the legends and the myths and all those kind of things. As does the Three Stooges TV movie from 2000. Again, it's not a great movie. I'm going to go and give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Not a great movie, but if you're a Stooges fan, and only if you're a Stooges fan, it's something to seek out. It's something to watch. It moves by at a brisk pace. I think it's under 2 hours. It's a sentimental sort of journey back in time. And even if it's only maybe 60% true, if that, it's still, there's so much affection and goodwill towards the Stooges. It's absolutely worth checking out.